Okay, hi everybody. We are live. This is Monica with No Kid Hungry and our Entertainment Industry and Hunger Challenge. Today I am sitting down with Canadian country artist Blake Berglund. He is a nomination of Codie Prevost, who has agreed to step up and take the challenge. So today we are sitting down to talk about ending hunger and keep the ball rolling for those dollars coming in to reach our goal. So I'm going to turn the table over to Blake so that he can take a moment to introduce himself.
Yeah, thank you, Monica. I really appreciate this opportunity. Cody's a really good buddy of mine, and I like to say came as a surprise when he'd nominate me for something, but he does a really good job of that, and it's always nice to work with the people he's connected with and further those circles. So thanks to Cody and thanks to you, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm an artist in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, and we play sort of a fringe, on the edge country kind of music. So yeah.
That's great. So although you were obviously a nomination of Cody's, you could have been too busy or had a lot of things going on. Was there any other reason besides your nomination that you agreed to take the challenge?
Yeah, well, we're always busy, and there's always a lot, excuse me, a lot going on. But I think that as artists, we have a responsibility when you sort of, even right from the get-go, you're in front of a microphone, or you're having people listen to you, or some artists are more influential than others, and if you can associate yourself with a good cause, many good causes, as many as you can, just to do a little bit of good in the world, I think that's a pretty important thing.
It is. It's very good. So today, we're talking about hunger, like you and I were kind of discussing before we decided to go live, and talking about what we can do to end hunger. And one of the things that we talked about is the difference between Canada and the U.S. And I'm curious to kind of get your thoughts. You made a very good statement earlier, and why don't you let everybody know what you said when I asked you how things are done differently versus Canada and the United States and what you had told me.
Well, I just said that I don't think a border controls the issue of hunger. Whether children are going to school hungry in the States or whether they're going to school hungry in Canada, the fact is they're going to school hungry, and it becomes it's not even maybe a hunger thing because times are tough. Everybody's trying to make a living, and for parents, I mean, I don't have any children. Cody just had his first child, and it's hard. I couldn't imagine having to raise four kids, clothe them, put food in their bellies, get them to school. I mean, obviously you do a good job at it, but healthy food is expensive these days. You can get something sugary from the middle aisles of a grocery store and fill a kid's stomach up with that and send them on the way, but even that's just not enough. So actually we have a health food company, not a company, an independent health food store, which I think we could probably talk about later. That they're very accessible. If you are of a low-income family, you can go to this place in Regina and just talk to the owner and be like, I want to eat healthy food. I want to raise my children on healthy foods, and I can afford healthy food. What can we do together? And he provides a plan to move forward with that. So I think that's a very important thing that independent people, independent companies are trying to do just in their own backyards before, taking on the bigger fight. It's taking care of the people that you have the most contact with around home, I guess, first.
Actually, I think I do want to touch on that. That's why I love doing these interviews with you guys. I had a company approach me a few days ago that's a health food company. They're trying to basically a company is trying to take over the health food companies in regards to this. We were talking about how when people are given food at the food shelves or other places, what they're being given isn't the greatest. So essentially, although we're giving them food, we're giving them garbage, really. I mean, not the healthiest stuff. And I brought up the fact that when my kids and I the other day went to the grocery store to get food for dinner, we discovered that it was $5 cheaper to buy Kentucky Fried Chicken, which is very bad for you, versus buying good food. So families run into a convenience factor. You're busy, parents are working, kids in sports. It's a convenience to go to McDonald's and buy food off the dollar menu than to go and prepare healthy food. Or, like you said, they can't afford the healthy food. They're not getting the nutrients. It's a huge issue for
Well,
that.
Yeah, and parents should have the education and the understanding as well that they can't raise their children on Big Macs and hamburgers. Um, and sure, I mean, I'm first to admit that growing up as a kid, when your parent would bring in a, or parents would bring in a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken, it was a treat. It was something special that you have at a
Hmm.
picnic or whatnot. But that's the reality of it. There's a reason they make it cheaper than something healthy, so we have no other choice than to go to groups like that or to eat food like that when I think there's other things that can be done.
Yeah, and for the company, and I'd like more information on the company, because for somebody to do something like that when they're coming to them saying, I would like my kids to be able to eat healthier, but I can't afford it, can you help me, is a huge milestone, because there's a lot, I think, that aren't. And if enough people started saying, let me help you, and found a way to
Hmm.
make that happen, I think we could reverse this effect and make a big change. That is a huge deal. I want to get more information on that. Um,
Yeah, and I wish I knew I in the research of it, I was talking to my girlfriend, and she let me know of this group, and I never got his name or even the company's name, but it is a health food store in Regina, and I can follow up with you on that for sure.
that would be great to follow up on. I would love to, because I'm all about that. It's one thing I've become kind of big on, is more than just the ending hunger, is trying to say, what, ending hunger alone isn't enough. We need to make sure that what they're eating is proper, because eating garbage, is defeating the whole purpose. If we're just feeding them junk and not feeding them healthy food, it really defeats the entire process. So
Hmm.
that's a good one.
Hmm.
One of the questions that I didn't tell you before we started that I say is, I often say that to eliminate hunger, to take care of this whole problem, I feel that we have to set aside our religious and political differences, and we kind of touched on that. It doesn't mean that I'm denouncing anybody's religion, but I just think what's been mentioned before is, if people are so hungry at the end of the day, from hunger, they're not going to be able to listen to what a person has to say. And I just think that we have to kind of set it all aside for the greater picture. What do you think about that? When I'm
Well,
not saying it doesn't, that what a person believes in doesn't matter, it's just we have to kind of come together collectively.
well, I feel like, and I'm not educated in world religions, but I mean, I don't think the stomach knows the difference. I hate to use it
No.
so bluntly, but then you get into an area where you talk about like if it's somebody's right that everybody should have food and the access to that should be cheap and easy, even to the point if they can't afford it, free. It's a pretty big. That's a pretty strong socialist stance on things. But regardless, I do believe that. I think that when it comes to children going to school in the morning and them not having food in their stomachs, there needs to be programs set in place to get them the nutrients they need in order to perform at the top of their performance standards and skills. And I couldn't imagine. I was very fortunate growing up. We had I never had a problem not getting good food and nutritious food in the mornings, and in fact, I took it for granted. But I couldn't imagine just being a kid rolling up to have a test one day and your bloody stomach's growling through the whole thing.
Yep. Like we said, we were talking about a research that just came out from Don't Get Hungry that you and I were talking about before we went on, from the teacher standpoint, that they're seeing so many kids that are starting their day off, hungry, and we're setting them up for failure before they've even started, when they're
Hmm.
so hungry that they're not going to be able to focus. They can't think about that test that they need to focus on, or their work, because all they can think about is when they're going to get their food and how they're going to get their next meal. And we're failing them before we've even started,
Hmm.
which is not good.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
it's not fair to the kids.
I
One
agree.
second, I dropped my phone here.
No
Oh
problem.
my goodness! You and I have had a morning with our technical difficulties.
I've never been one for computers. I would always rather
No,
have a guitar sitting in a van or on a stage, but it's the way it goes. So I'm getting
it
better. I'm
worked.
getting, I'm getting
People
better
watching
very
this
quick.
will love. People watching this will love it. Um,
Yeah, good.
in the recent, well, not centuries, in the recent decades, I've said that a lot of what we've been doing, and again, U.S. probably only, I guess I don't have statistics or information for Canada, what I felt has been a kind of a Band-Aid fix, and I've seen it personally. temporary solutions for ending hunger, helping people for a month, helping people for a few weeks, barely getting by, until the next paycheck, or if even that. I'm trying to figure out a way, and I'm hoping that this project is the start of that, to get past these temporary solutions and get to the result of completely ending hunger. And I believe in my heart, somehow it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there's actually a way? Do you think it's possible to get to that point?
Well, I think it's possible with enough people, with enough heart getting behind a project, a common goal, and everybody moving forward. Anything is, but we'd have to focus it down on different areas first. They're trying to end hunger to our Western world of kids going to school so they're not hungry when they write a test is different than ending hunger in a third world country. And then you get into, there's politics that play into that, And I'm a strong believer of our own backyards. The more we could do to take care of our own, the more we could do to help the people in our communities be strengthened and move forward. I think that's always the first step. So whether it's an issue about even like food stamps or programs, breakfast programs set in place, yeah, if I was to put my money on something, it would be to the schools. Yeah, morning programs.
And I should mention for those watching, two things. First of all, that's what No Kid Hungry is. So the money that's being raised for this, for No Kid Hungry, that's their big thing, is breakfast in the schools. The first thing I saw was New York specifically, but they do it all over. Their big thing is exactly what we've talked about, making sure that children start their day off right, that they're getting breakfast in school, that they're getting fed, that they start their day off and don't go hungry. So although it's ending hunger for kids altogether, it's really making sure that they are getting fed in the morning. So that is kind of hitting on what you're trying to do. And yeah, I agree. We have to start with the Western world, and we need to start in our own backyard first. Not that the other countries aren't important, but we have to kind of take care of our own first before we can help anybody else.
And it strengthens the education system to an extent. I mean, better results look good for everybody,
Well, yeah, I mean, it helps all around. I mean, the test scores are up. You look at these kids that you think are, these dropouts probably wouldn't be dropouts. You've got kids who probably have a lot of potential and aren't being given the chance to succeed at their full potential.
Yeah.
So it's not doing them any justice.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. Yeah. There is a saying that music can change the world. What do you think about that? I say that because music is kind of the common ground no matter where you are. Music is everywhere. And people often say music can change the world. You being a musician, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm biased. When I was always trying to make my argument to my parents that I should quit dentistry and pick up a guitar and go full time with that, the argument was, you go to the dentist to fix your teeth, you go to the doctor to fix your heart, you go to all these professions to fix what's wrong with you, and then who do they go to when they need to be fixed, right? So I've always felt, at the end of the day, they put on a record and listen to something that connects with them. And yeah, there's that. Can music change the world? Yeah, I could be optimistic and think that it totally could change the world. I mean, there have been artists that have had very positive messages in their words that actually have made changes, and there's the extremes of the Farm Aid, Willie Nelson and Neil Young and John Mellencamp, Dave Matthews, their Farm Aid. I'd like to think that makes a big positive difference, and that's based around music. So at the end of the day, I mean, I do it for reasons that are almost like selfish. I'm blessed to be able to do this full time, and it's not to convince anybody of anything. It's to make, Todd Snyder says, it's to make myself feel better about everything. So that's kind of my approach to the music. But yeah, when you can connect an artist or their work to a good cause, I don't think anybody can go wrong with that.
No, I don't think so either. And there's music for every mood. So that's what I think it is. I mean, there's power in music. And people put music on depending upon what their mood is. It doesn't matter the genre, even country. There's songs for no matter
Country.
what you're.
Well, you can listen to country music. I agree. I totally agree.
I listen to all of it. I was born and
Right.
raised in country, and there's everything. Whether you're happy, whether you're sad, whether you're mad, there is a song for everything. So.
Absolutely. I like to cook soup to Wu-Tang Clan. That's kind of my thing on Sunday nights. Puts me in a good place for the entire week.
That's good. Um, you've had a chance to kind of look at the project. You know what we've done, and we've been talking here. Is there something for those who are watching or may watch this and think, well, I just don't need to help because this isn't my problem and it doesn't really affect me, so why should I care? Would there be a message that you could tell those watching who may have that thought that they really, don't need to help and it doesn't affect them and it's not their problem?
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess this goes back to focusing on a smaller scale, and I want to commend you for the efforts that you've made for this. It's hard to take on a project that's as massive as this is, but when even accepting these challenges, I think that's a great first step. So whether it'll spread like wildfire if people are challenging 3 each and we can get $100 per interview. I mean, the numbers are massive that we could achieve with this. So I think the first thing, is to accept the challenges with this interview. I think it's great. And secondly, just keep an ear to the ground. Just be conscious of it. You don't have to go out and try and make the effort to specifically look for a fix for hunger, but you can be conscious that if an opportunity arises to pull your own weight, you need to take it at all costs. So I think that's a good first step.
I think I really needed that today because after reading that article that I was telling you about, that we were talking with the schools, it really had me thinking, with the project here, I know that I'm doing a good thing. And like you said, it's probably biting off more than I can chew, and it's a big project to have brought in by myself. But there are some days when you read these teachers saying how, they see the kids coming in so hungry, and 81% of them are, not getting enough. And I just thought, am I not doing enough? Is this really not enough? But maybe it is. Maybe we just need to think more, like you said, ear to the ground and just looking for the opportunity instead of looking for that fix.
Isn't that the difficult part of it all? Is you could always feel like you're not doing enough. There's always something more you can do, or stay up an extra few hours later to work on it. But if everyone appreciates the small efforts and everyone makes the small efforts, I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to disclose it, but you've done very well with the funding through this interview campaign to the point of 100,000 meals. Would that be correct? 10,000 meals for children?
We are up to $1,200 raised, which is, I think, 12,000 meals right now, and another $1,000 in the works. So like 22,000 meals set to be raised.
That's incredible. I mean, if you didn't put the effort into creating a little bit of a base for artists to connect to, for the interviews to happen, those meals would never happen. So I just commend those efforts on a very large scale. Thank you for it.
Well, and I appreciate that. It's about the kids. I mean, I do appreciate it because, like I said, this morning when I saw that, I just thought, oh, is this not enough?
Yeah.
But you look at that, and I guess it really is, and you just have to look at it and go 22,000 meals. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
And think of, like you said, the wildfire effect. If we can keep getting people to get those nominations and the 3 that you're going to nominate and keep it going and keep it going. And this is only February. I started this on January 10th. You think of that. It's not even it's not even a few months in. So in less than 60 days, we've done that much. So, yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, we're doing good. Yeah, so you kind of given your advice for people, and now here's your chance to nominate 3 people. So for those watching, Blake gets to now pick 3 people to nominate to step up and take the challenge and sit down with me.
I just got off the road with a friend of mine from Steinbeck, Manitoba, Canada, Mr. Quentin Blair. He's a picker, he's a singer, he writes phenomenal music. So I'd like to throw it up to Quentin. Secondly, I imagine maybe even Codie put it out in this direction. Chris Henderson, he's another good buddy of ours who is working hard. He's going down to Nashville. He's writing all the time. He's always playing. He's got a lot of good things on the go. So Chris Henderson. And thirdly, if it's possible, I have a sister with a nutrition degree, and she's a yogi, and she is her own business, well-being business, Casey Berglund, and she's very active on Twitter, and she has a wonderful insight on nutrition and health. So I think that she'd be an excellent contact for this whole thing. So my third one's my baby sister, Casey Berglund.
Well, I think we'll do that. So if I don't have their information, I will get that from you, especially if she's active on Twitter, and I'll connect with her. We will get those 3 people in touch. You have been nominated. We will get in contact with them, see if they step up and accept the challenge like you did. Blake, it has been very insightful. I do need to get in touch with you in regards to that place, that nutrition place,
Totally.
that food place, so we can connect with them.
Awesome.
I appreciate you sitting down to do the interview and taking a moment out of your time to help us raise money to end hunger for kids. It's a huge deal. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Monica, so much.
So you have a great day. I will stay in touch with you. Thank you, everybody, for watching. You'll find more information about the project and about Blake's work at the bottom of this video.
Woo. See you around.
All right. See you around, guys.